It's the most famous painting in the world. Serene, harmonious, haunting. For centuries, viewers of this composition of oils on a panel of poplar wood have wondered about its subject, sitting in an almost ethereal state of tranquil omniscience, with a perplexing hint of a smirk lounging on her lips. In short, they've asked themselves what I'm asking now. What exactly is her problem? What's so funny? Why is she giving us that look? And why did he paint her like that? He, of course, is Leonardo da Vinci, that enigmatic apotheosis of the Renaissance, one of the most colossal geniuses ever to issue out of the human race. He's imparted something of his prodigious mind and inscrutable soul into this picture, and I want to know what it is. But who does this portrait portray? The consensus is that she was Lisa Gherardini, a noblewoman who married a Florentine silk merchant called Francesco Giocondo, thus the alternate title for the painting, La Gioconda. She was born in 1479 into an old and illustrious family that had seen better days. At age 15, Lisa married Signor Giocondo, the cloth merchant, nearly twice her age. She had an eminent family, and he had money. No longer did she share a floor mat with her siblings. Now she slept on a woolen mattress with goose feather blankets, eating pork, peacock, turtle dove, and honey almond sweet cakes. After nearly 9 years of this happy life, she sat down, aged 24, to have her picture painted. Earlier, the French had conquered Milan, where Da Vinci had been living, and he travelled back to Florence, in which place he was as famous as he was up north, and where he received this commission in 1503. Or did he insist on painting her? Da Vinci was refusing offers from popes and kings, yet he agreed to paint, as critic Kenneth put it, the second wife of an obscure Florentine citizen. Da Vinci, now in his 50s, was a seasoned, experienced artist, no longer the boy learning the basics under his teacher Verrocchio, whom he'd speedily surpassed. He had amassed immense knowledge, and perhaps saw in Lisa the conduit through which to express his insights in bodily form. In any case, he painted her. Da Vinci's biographer, Vasari, records that Leonardo ordered performers to play music and sing and joke while she sat for the portrait. Could her expression simply be a reaction to the gestures? I don't think so. However long she sat for the picture, Da Vinci worked on it long afterwards, several years in fact, taking it with him on his travels to labour over. This was clearly something more for him than a commissioned portrait. It just may be that he was infusing into this work all the intricate intertwining patterns of his thoughts, all the unplumbed secrets of the human spirit he'd deduced, but could only express in the soaring, elusive vocabulary of art. It's unlikely Lisa ever saw the finished painting. Da Vinci kept it for himself, some suggesting he worked away at it for the rest of his life. Now we could delve into 100 theories that have arisen over this picture, ranging from hidden mystical codes to Lisa's cholesterol intake. We could also talk about its mastery of form, its anatomical and optical effects, conveyed so astonishingly well through the use of sfumato technique, by which figures were painted with great realism by a skillful blend of colour and shade, and not using outlines, as Botticelli used to use, for instance. But none of that would tell us why Da Vinci painted her with that infuriatingly furtive smile. Now it's hard enough to comprehend our own brains, let alone the minds of those around us. So it is undoubtedly audacious to presume to comprehend the intellect of one of history's most formidable geniuses. But people have tried before, and always will. Beware of her, warned the French historian Jules Michelin. It is a dangerous picture. It attracts me, revolts me, consumes me. I go to her in spite of myself, as the bird to the serpent. The writer, Georges Sand, said, "No one who has ever set eyes upon her for a moment can ever forget her. What is disquieting about this image is the soul shining through, appearing to contemplate yours with lofty serenity, reading into your eyes, while you vainly tried to read into hers." But the most famous and effusive analysis of her belongs to the English critic Walter Pater, who said, "La Gioconda is, in the truest sense, Leonardo's masterpiece, the revealing instance of his mode of thought and work. In suggestiveness, only the melancholia of Dürer is comparable to it, and no crude symbolism disturbs the effect of its subdued and graceful mystery. We all know the face and hands of the figure, set in its marble chair, in that cirque of fantastic rocks, as in some faint light under sea. Perhaps of all ancient pictures, time has chilled it least. As often happens with works in which invention seems to reach its limits, there is an element in it given to, not invented by, the master. In that inestimable folio of drawings, once in the possession of Vasari, were certain designs by Verrocchio, faces of such impressive beauty that Leonardo in his boyhood copied them many times. It is hard not to connect with these designs of the elder, bypassed master, as with its germinal principle, the unfathomable smile, always with a touch of something sinister in it, which plays over all Leonardo's work. From childhood, we see this image defining itself on the fabric of his dreams. What was the relationship of a living Florentine to this creature of his thoughts? By means of what strange affinities had the person and the dream grown up thus, apart, yet so closely together? The presence that thus rose up so strangely beside the waters is expressive of what in the ways of 1,000 years men had come to desire. Hers is the head upon which all the ends of the world are come, and the eyelids are a little weary. It is a beauty wrought out from within upon the flesh, that deposit, little cell by cell, of strange thoughts and fantastic reveries and exquisite passions. Set it for a moment beside one of those white Greek goddesses or beautiful women of antiquity, and how would they be troubled by this beauty, into which the soul with all its melodies has passed? All the thoughts and experience of the world have etched and moulded there, the animalism of Greece, the lust of Rome, the reverie of the Middle Age with its spiritual ambition and imaginative loves, the return of the pagan world, the sins of the Borgias. She is older than the rocks among which she sits. Like the vampire, she has been dead many times, and learned the secrets of the grave, and has been a diver in deep seas, and as Leda was the mother of Helen of Troy, and as St. Anne the mother of Mary, and all this has been to her but as the sound of lyres and flutes. The fancy of a perpetual life, sweeping together 10,000 experiences, is an old one, and modern thought has conceived the idea of humanity as wrought upon by, and summing up in itself, all modes of thought and life. Certainly Lady Lisa might stand as the embodiment of the old fancy, the symbol of the modern idea. This idea that she is a revelatory summing up of things is very prevalent. If this painting is the summation of Leonardo's mind, then it is indeed a happy summation. To me it depicts a supreme, instinctively graspable duality. We have the human figure, realistic, solid, in front of our eyes, and the swirling, misty backdrop symbolizing that which is not known, that which is yet to be, hazy, unrealistic in perspective, unknowable despite all our attempts, yet we do attempt, no matter how futile the effort. We want to know that sunlit world outside of Plato's cave, and thus we build bridges into the shadow and carve roadways into the fog. Leonardo looked at the world with boundless curiosity. He wanted to know how all of its components functioned. He studied and observed and pondered and experimented, and after it all, his figures smile. They smile. The last figure he ever painted smiles. It is more haunting than Lisa, so let me fade into it slowly. There. This is supposedly John the Baptist, but this smooth-skinned, androgynous apparition bears no resemblance to the biblical Baptist, living on locusts and wild honey, the booming voice crying out in the wilderness, anticipating the Christ. Leonardo's version is another Lisa-like riddle, and the duality is more extreme, light and darkness. The light is both friendly and frightful, knowable and unknowable, but whatever it is not the darkness, blank, dead, dormant. This figure has seemingly crossed that Mona Lisa bridge, and in that unknown shrouded world of moonless night has stepped into a warm autumnal beam of sun, and in its tender glow points up and smiles.